Helson. Accidentally, I don't. All right, now let I see. Teacher Brendan will be here with us very soon. Oh, he is. I think so. Hello, Teacher Brendan. Are you KBN now? Oh, sorry, Teacher Michael. Hello, Teacher Michael.
Hello, everybody.
I think I accidentally, swap. I click on switch, and I took I took
That
your account or something. I don't
that's
know. It's just a
fine.
click. Sorry.
That's all right. It just accidentally booted me out, but I'm back.
Why there's two teacher Michael?
Oh, is it
Is
two
there?
teacher Michael?
I only see one of me popping
Is
up
it?
in the
Yeah.
participants list.
Okay.
There's two teacher Michael.
Okay, well, I'm the real one. Okay. So,
Action are the same.
should we get started now, or should we wait for the rest of the kids to get here?
Yeah.
Maybe
Just start. We just wait. There's
His
48 students. So we just wait.
Should we wait for the last few, or should we get started, Miss Bill?
no. Just get started. Yeah.
Okay. So, today, everyone, I'd like to talk to you about the more performative aspects of debating and public speaking. So let me share my screen. Oh, not share my screen, sorry. Start a whiteboard. That's what I meant to do. Excellent. Okay. Okay, so when I say the performative aspects of debate and public speaking, what I mean by that is how you deliver the information. Sorry, guys, you know I can't type and talk at the same time, so I'll put a few notes up and then I will get talking.
I can't find it. I can't hear you.
Okay. So, these are the things that we're going to be covering today. We're going to be talking about your body language. I'll go into a bit more detail about that today. Excuse me. So, your body language is things like your posture. How do you sit at the table, or how do you stand at the podium when you deliver your speech? We're talking about things like eye contact. So, are you looking at your audience? Are you trying to engage with them by looking at them? Or are you just staring off at the ceiling? Or are you just looking down at your notes and just reading your notes? We talk about your facial expressions. So, are you smiling? Are you frowning? Are you remaining very stoic? Which means just you're remaining very plain-faced. You're not showing any emotion. And we're also talking about your hand gestures. So what are your hands doing while you're talking? Are you just holding your notes? Are you being very expressive while you talk? So yeah, that's your body language. We also have your vocal modulation, which means how are you using your voice? And we look at that with things like tone, which is your voice going up or is your voice going down when you talk? We talk about Ooh.
Ủa đang tắt mất con, điện ngay chứ con.
We also talk about volume. Are you speaking very, very loudly, or are you speaking very quietly? And finally, we talk about pace, which means are you speaking very quickly, so it's hard for people to understand, or are you talking slowly, so that people can understand every word? We're also going to look at some, sorry, my laptop's on my legs, so if my camera's shaking, I'm just adjusting my legs. We talk about persuasion and rhetorical devices. So persuasion, we'll talk about it in a bit more detail later, but persuasion is trying to convince somebody of an idea that you've got, or to do something that you want them to do by pointing out the positive aspects of it. And rhetorical devices, they are just little techniques that you can write into your speeches or any reports or essays you have to write. And they're just little tricks that put your reader or your listener's mind at ease. It's basically like smooth talking. So if I'm giving you a speech and it's very, rough and bumpy and it stops and it starts and it's a bit all over the place, then you might have a hard time following along with what I'm saying because I'm jumping all over the place like a crazy frog. But yeah, rhetorical devices, it's just a way of making your speech smoother so that when the audience listens to it, it almost puts their minds at ease and it makes them want to, like, subconsciously, it's a little psychological hack. It will basically allow your audience to kind of come along on the ride with you, want to like you, want to trust you. And finally, we talk about ethos, pathos, and logos, which is things like credibility, emotional connection with the audience, and the line of logic that you use when you're delivering your speech. So before we start with body language, does anybody have any questions before we begin?
Why did you capitalize the word how?
Because because that is the important part of this topic. So so what you're learning with teacher Brendan is more or is the actual writing side of the debate. So how to structure your arguments, how to write a good speech that makes sense. But what I'm teaching you is how to deliver the information. So teacher Brendan is the what, I'm the how. That's why I've capitalized the how. Olivia, do you have a question?
So what you're seeing like in body language, well, vocal modulation, persuasion, and rhetorical device. So these are in a debate, but what in public speaking, in debate, do we always have to use it, and do we always have to repeat it every time?
Very good question. So you don't have to, but using these techniques will make your speeches vastly better. So if you think about it, so if I'm delivering a speech to you guys, let's say you're my audience and I'm giving you a speech. If I don't use any of these performative techniques, so if we look at body language, for example, if I'm not using good body language, my posture might be all slumped over. I'm not going to make eye contact. I'm just going to look off over here. Yeah, my face is going to be quite flat. I'm not going to do anything with it. And I'm not going to use any hand gestures. No vocal modulation, so I'm just plain as all, I'm just plain, not doing anything special. You're going to get really bored. You're not going to believe what I'm saying if I'm just giving a speech like this, and you're just going to find it hard to concentrate. You won't really want to believe what I'm saying. But on the other hand, if I'm standing up straight, if I'm looking at you, I sound confident. I'm using some changes in my vocal pitch. So if I want to ask a question, or if I'm trying to state a fact, I'm changing all of these things, all the parts of the vocal modulation. You know, I might look at someone, I might want to point to someone if I want to ask them a question. There's all of these different techniques that I can use that they'll make your speech more dynamic, more exciting to listen to. And as well, a lot of these techniques will make you seem trustworthy, and that the audience can believe what you're saying. So they are a very important part of your speech, public speech and debate. But of course, you don't have to use them, but the quality of your speech will suffer if you don't. Ooh. Tina, did you have a question?
Yes, so like how do you like persuade the audience by logic, like what you wrote on the whiteboard?
She's sorry, just gonna grab a pair of headphones. Excuse me for 2 minutes. I didn't quite hear that. Okay. Can you ask that again, Tina?
So like on the whiteboard, you wrote that like one of the persuasion devices you can use is logic. How do you persuade your audience by using logic?
So human beings are very, very, very complex animals. Turns out these headphones aren't even doing anything. But yeah, so it turns out that human beings are very, very complicated animals. And so when we communicate, there are different ways that we can be trustworthy. So in regards to logic, logic just means that what you're saying makes sense. So, it's fair, so it's fairly logical to assume, it's fairly logical to say that a tomato is a fruit because it has seeds. So that's logical. I can then add on to that with credibility by providing evidence on that. And as well, if it's something that I'm really passionate about, I can really try and make an emotional connection to you. By trying to really convince you, using actually tomatoes being a fruit, I don't really see a way to connect that emotionally, but yeah, so logic is the base definition of it is that it makes sense. So if you think about it, each step in the chain will make sense of an argument that you're trying to make. Give me 2 seconds, actually. I'll get a better definition of that for you. So a better way of saying that, sorry, would be logic. Logic is your ability to reason with things. So yeah, basically like logic is your ability to figure a problem out. That's probably the best definition I could give. Ruby, we'll have one more question and then we'll move into talking about body language.
What is credibility?
So credibility is whether people can trust what you're saying. So, so for example, I'll go back to the tomato being a fruit idea. So if I was to tell you that a tomato is a fruit because it's got seeds, you might not believe it. But if I was to show you a scientific report from some agricultural scientists, and they explained it in this report, and they said, the tomato is a fruit because it has seeds and because of this reason and that reason. If I was to then say, well, I've got this report here that says the tomato is a fruit, that would be my credibility, because it's not just me saying it. I'm finding, somebody that everybody believes. The scientists would be my credibility in this case. And then, yeah, so they would, sorry, I just got a bit tongue twisted there. So yeah, so credibility, yeah, is just, are you believable? So yeah, in this instance, for me to be believable in making a claim like that, I might give you a scientific report to read or some evidence to read. Okay, thank you, Ruby. Okay, so So body language, let's start off with posture. So I'm going to show you two different types of posture. One is good, one will be good, one will be bad. I want you to tell me which one you think is good. It would be classed as good posture and why you think so.
Well,
And then I want you to tell me which of these two types of posture is bad and why you think it's bad. Okay, so this is number one. I'm going to sit up nice and tall with my back straight. Would this be would this be classed as good posture or bad posture? Sitting up nice and straight with a nice straight spine. Min, do you think this posture, sitting up like this, is considered good posture or bad posture?
I think it's a good posture
I think
because when you have a nice chest pie, the audience will love your speech.
Very good. So nice straight spine, sitting or standing upright is considered good posture. Very good. So I heard you mention something about chest puffed out. Looking straight ahead. Now, why would this be considered good posture? Who has an idea? Mary, why do you think sitting up nice and straight with your chest puffed out and looking straight ahead, why do you think this would be considered good posture?
because it will straight our spine and it will straight up our spine, and if we sit back, we sit head not we sit head not like that, our spine wouldn't, it will be bent.
Very good. Very good. So if we're sitting up, we will look a lot better when we speak, or if we're standing up straight, we'll look a lot better when we speak. If we're hunched over and bent down, we won't look so good. Very good. But yes, the main reason is it shows confidence in yourself and in your words. So when we talk about confidence in ourself and in our own words, our body language very much reflects our confidence. So if you're sure of yourself, you know what you've got to say, and you know that you're going to do a good job, when you give your speech, you're going to feel confident. You're going to feel happy to give that speech. And as a natural reaction to that, your body will naturally have good posture. So again, it's nice straight spine, chest puffed out, looking straight ahead, and you'll deliver your speech nice and confident because it's very open body language. And when your body language is open, so again, straight spine, chest puffed out, looking straight ahead at everybody. So as well as showing confidence, it will also make your audience feel like they can trust you, like they can like you. And that actually is quite a big thing. If you can get your audience to trust and like you, then yeah, you will have a very easy time of public speaking. Now, the other one.
Teacher Michael, what is slump over?
Ah, good question. So slumped over is the opposite to having a nice straight spine. It's a way of saying, like, I'm slumped over, you know, so I might be like leaning forward, or if I'm sitting on the couch, you know, I might be, you know, leaning back like that. This is being slumped over when you're not sitting up nice and straight. Okay, so if we have bad posture, so again, we're slumped over, you know, maybe looking down at our page, we're not trying to engage with the audience at all. This shows a lack of confidence. So
Teacher?
this, hello?
Why don't you answer other student who raises your hand?
Because I'm going to do a bit more talking first, and then I'll take a few more questions and ask for some input. I've got a lot to cover today, so I really want to make sure that I get through as much of it as possible. So yeah, so having bad posture, because you're slumped over, it's the exact opposite of having good posture. So again, when I've got good posture, I'm puffing my chest out, standing nice and tall. This is very open body language. So one basic little biology fact, and then we'll move on. So in the animal kingdom, so like say lions and other animals that will fight with each other, the ultimate sign of you know, being a tough animal, like an alpha pack leader of the animal. So take a lion, for example, is yeah, like that good posture is always sticking up, like always standing up nice and tall, and you can see the front of his chest. Now, what that means is that he's not afraid of people attacking him and trying to, you know, trying to kill him, because he knows that he can, you know, fight for himself and protect his pack and everything. So he'll walk around with his chest puffed out. But it's the smaller, weaker lions or the smaller, weaker animals that will always try and hide their chests, because it's a very vulnerable area, you know, all of the organs and stuff. So they hide it away to protect themselves. Now, while us humans, we don't walk around, you know, trying to attack and kill each other, our posture and whether we show our chest or whether we hide it away, that lets everybody else know, are we confident with ourselves, or are we very shy and not confident and don't really believe in ourselves? So that's what that means. That's just how we've evolved to use body language. So that is very important. So if you're hiding your chest away and you're slumped over and you've got your bad posture, it does make it very, very hard for the audience to trust you, because you're not being open, as it were. You're not putting yourself out there, so people won't trust that. Okay. Facial expressions. So this one is, I'll post a few resources in the group chat today. Excuse me. To do a bit of research on some of this stuff. But facial expressions, they are actually very, very important. So obviously your facial expressions are one of the first things that somebody that's talking to you will use to understand how you're feeling. So are you smiling? Are you frowning? Do you look angry? Like, people will use that very, very quickly to determine, you know, what kind of mood you're in, you know, or if you're public speaking or debating, what you're talking about. So a few tips. Facial expressions, I can't really teach you that much in the time we've got. So I'll just give you a few important points. So number one is make your facial expressions look natural. So if so let's say that I'm giving a speech and I've got, and I'm telling a joke to try and make the audience laugh, lighten the mood a little bit. So if I have a joke where we're all going to share a laugh, the last thing I want to do is put on a facial expression like, because I just look crazy. It doesn't look like I'm really laughing. And if I'm not being genuine, and if I'm not looking natural, again, it's going to make me look strange, and the audience are not going to want to trust what I'm saying. So anytime you use facial expressions, make them look natural. And what that means is you're just going to have to spend some time practicing these things to make them look natural. This is all stuff you're going to have to work on, but it will definitely pay off for you in the long run. Min, do you have a question?
No.
No worries.
I have a question.
Who's
What
got a
do
question?
Yeah, it's why do people keep chatting? They finally get locked, but the chat got locked. But questionable.
All right, so do you have a question, Mint?
Yes, I have. At the start of this meeting, why do people just keep chatting?
Who's keeping on chatting?
Yeah,
Are people chatting? So
yeah.
I'm not getting any chat notifications, and I'm not don't hear anybody. I don't hear anybody.
I mean chat in the chat box. It just can't chat
There
anymore.
is no chats in the chat box so far.
Yeah, I
You
don't
need
see
to
anything.
block it.
Roland, do you have a question?
Where do people go?
My question is about the chat box. So, and you need to block the chat box, and it's annoying.
Yeah, I don't see anybody chatting.
I just saw one
But
message
if it,
only
yeah,
from
I just
Enter.
saw one there. If it does become a problem, then we can lock the chat box, but for now we'll just leave it.
Yeah, but anyway, I make it only available to host and co-host. So if you
Yeah.
need anything, you can just send a just message private to the teacher. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, John, do you have a question?
Yes. Well, I I talking. I always shake it, or I talking so fast. How can I fix?
Okay. So we will get to vocal modulation next and what we do with our voice. So we'll come to that shortly. But thank you for the question, John. Antonov, are you named after that big Ukrainian aeroplane? Yeah. World's biggest plane. I got to see that when it flew into Perth a few years ago. It's massive. What's your question?
Can you block the chat? It's annoying. I think it's annoying.
All right. We'll have it changed so that you can only message the hosts and co-hosts. So yeah, we'll make that change if a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Olivia, what's your question?
So you said that we can always be a good posture with a body language, but do we have to use it in a debate, or you can't use it, or if you can use it, is it good for us?
It is definitely a very, very, very good thing to use because regardless of whether you're consciously thinking about your body language or you're not thinking about it at all,
I think the
you are
heater.
still sending a message to people with your body language. So, example, right now, if I wasn't thinking about my body language, I might be, hang on, I'll turn my background off momentarily.
Oh no, sao lại ở trên
Okay.
dưới?
So if I wasn't thinking about my body language, I might I might just be sitting here on the couch and
So
looking
this
off.
is your room?
No, well, this is my living room. We're doing a lot of we've just got a whole bunch of new furniture, so the house is an absolute mess while we redecorate. But onto my point, if I wasn't thinking about my body language, I might just be sitting here and talking to you about the class like this. So what sort of message do you think this body language is sending right now? What do you think my body language is saying to you right now?
You're tired.
I think you need to stop share screen, then they can see you better. Otherwise, they only see you on the little corner on the screen, Michael.
Okay. Hopefully that stays there.
Let's stop the share screen. Yep.
Yep. And I'll spotlight. So yeah, so if I'm sitting here or if I'm sitting on the couch like this,
I can see you much bigger.
so if I'm sitting here like this, what do you think my body language is telling you?
You are tired.
You are tired.
Tired.
I'm tired, maybe I'm tired, but look at my face as well.
Boring.
Snap. What's your
Yes. I look like I'm
sleepy.
bored. I look like I don't care.
Sleepy.
Very good. I look tired. I look sleepy. I look like I don't care. I look like I'm bored. Very good. But let's change this up a bit.
But you need to sleep.
Yes. But if I just put a little bit of thought into my body language and now I decide to sit up like this and I've got a smile on my face and I'm looking at you and I'm talking to you, what do you think this body language suggests?
You
are happy.
Confident.
You are confident.
Now you are
I'm
happy.
happy, I'm
Have
confident, very
confidence.
good. I'm more engaged with you guys because when I'm sitting up like this, I'm able to be expressive, if I'm making a point and movements here, use my hands, I can smile. Like it's easier for me to portray positive body language like this, and it makes me look like I care more. So that's why it's so important. And if you notice, my voice didn't really change. My voice didn't change from laying down there to sitting up here. But because of the face, because of the body language, the hands, everything, I gave you a completely different message. So that's why body language can be so important. Okay. Move spotlight. Gotta have my Mario back. All right, so let's get back to the whiteboard. So yeah, and same thing as facial expressions too. Like you saw the difference between me when I was laying down and I looked really bored, and then you saw the next time when I was trying to smile and be more engaging with my face.
How did you change your screen?
Because I like my Mario background.
How
But
did
yes,
you change that? I know you like Mario. Yeah.
I changed it by selecting a virtual background. Okay, so, but yeah, and so like you see there, like regardless of whether regardless of whether somebody's talking about their favorite topic on the like in the whole world, or whether they are, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, or whether they are talking about something that bores them completely. There's only so much people can take and listen to before their brains start to shut down about it. So that's why it's so important to consider your body language and your facial expressions, because if you start to zone out and, oh God, this is boring, the last thing you want to do is show that on your face during a speech or during a debate. Okay, our next. Okay, so our next topic is eye contact. Okay, so my big tip for eye contact is use it because it will engage your audience and it will make them feel special. Now, love me a bit of orange juice. So what I mean by that is, and this is actually a really easy trick to use when you're speaking in front of a live audience, it's very easy to use. Not so easy to use when you are on a camera situation like this. So basically, don't look at one person. The little trick is look at a block of people. So let's say you've got 100 people in the audience, and let's say you have this little block of, say, 20 people in the corner over here, front corner here. If you just look in the direction of that block of people, each and every one of them will think that you're looking at them specifically. And that's a great little tip, and it's really easy to use. Because yeah, so and to be honest, chances are you won't actually be able to see anyone in the audience anyway, because usually you've got bright light shining on the stage, and it does make it quite hard to see the audience. So just look out at different patches of the audience at different points in your speech, hold your gaze for a little while, and yeah, so each person in the area that you're looking will think you're looking right at them. And then they'll all individually have this moment where they're like, wow, he's talking to me. And that can make your audience, again, want to like you, want to trust you, because you're making them feel special. And yeah, that it's actually, again, surprisingly easy to do. You don't have to look at one specific person. You just look at a block of people, hold that gaze for, 20, 30 seconds while you're delivering a part of your speech. Maybe use a few hand gestures, and then look at a different section of the audience for the next bit. And you just spend the speech looking at different chunks of the audience. And over the course of your speech, you're going to have a room full of people thinking you're making eye contact with them. And eye contact is a very trustworthy gesture. So, for example, if I'm talking to you So I'm gonna try and fight the urge to actually look at the screens on the side of at the side here. I'm gonna try and make eye contact with the camera. So if you imagine that I'm giving you a speech and I'm making eye contact with you while I'm talking and I'm not breaking that eye contact, that's a sign of, again, confidence and trustworthiness. So if I'm looking at you like this, you are going to have a lot easier time believing what I'm saying. But now I'll do it the other way. So now if I'm speaking and I'll make eye contact quickly and I'll like look away and I'll look down and I'll look up and I'm not looking at you, you're going to think I'm pretty shifty. You're going to think that I'm, lie to you, or I'm trying to scam you out of something, or it's just naturally not a very trustworthy thing if people's eyes are darting all over the place and they won't just look at you when they talk.
Why your voice are lagging?
Probably because of the quality of internet that I've got.
Teacher, I don't even hear you lagging. You just normal.
Yeah, I just hear you lagging.
You lagging. But I think other things you are lagging. Your voice are lagging because you are far away and your internet is slow.
I hear you too.
Agree.
So of all of the parts of all of the different aspects of hand gestures, of body language, hand gestures is probably the most complicated, because out of all of the parts of your posture, your hands are the most articulate parts. So they can do the most movements, there's the most options, the most way for them to interact. So hand gestures, I'm going to say you want to practice them a lot because you have a lot of different options with them. And you can communicate just about anything with your hands. And the other thing I'll say is facial expression, just like facial expressions, make them look natural. So the last thing you want is to be, thinking of a hand gesture at the last second and saying something like, well, I was going to go across the bridge, but then I noticed that there was a big crack in it, and something random there out of the blue. It doesn't look natural. It looks strange. I'm sure you guys just saw my hands come out of nowhere like that and go, whoa, what is he doing? So you see an unnatural hand gesture takes you so it takes the audience out of the moment. And yes, we will be having a breakout room today. Okay,
Teacher, I
yeah.
have a question.
Yes, Sunny, what's your question?
Do we have breakout rooms today?
Yes, I do have an exercise for you for your breakout rooms. So we'll be doing that at around 10 past.
Can I
11.
stay with you?
Possibly. We will have to see what happens in the breakout rooms, but I think I might be running one today. Okay. Our next topic is vocal modulation. I'm not sure if I've told this class the statistics before. Excuse me. And I find this really interesting. But did you know that only 7% of the information that you give people when you communicate with them, only 7% of that information is the actual words that you say. The other 93% is made up of 1, your body language, and 2, your vocal modulation. So there's way more information that you give to your audience through, again, your body language and your voice than the actual words you say. It's really, really interesting, that. Okay, so vocal modulation has 3 parts to it. So pitch is how high or low is the tone of your voice. So you know how when someone gets really excited to tell you some good news and they get like, oh my God, I can't believe it, the most amazing thing happened, oh my God. And their voices are really high pitched, like up top. Or if somebody's getting really serious and they want to make sure that you understand something that you've said, they'll talk in a really deep, low tone of voice to make sure that you can understand every word they're saying. So that's the pitch of your voice, and we change that. So we change that to communicate different parts of speech that aren't so obvious by the words we use. So, so for example, if I was going to ask you a question, my pitch would go up at the end of the question. So, hey, are you ready to go to the shops? So did you hear at the end of the sentence there? My voice was, hey, are you ready to go to the shops? That pickup in the pitch signifies that I'm asking you a question. Or if I'm making a statement, at the end of it, my tone might go down a bit. So I might say something like, yeah, I'm ready to go to the shops. So you heard at the end, ready to go to the shops. It dropped off at the end. So we can use our pitch or our tone to communicate different things. So we can communicate emotions. So again, when I was all happy and excited, my voice, the tone of my pitch of my voice was way up top. When I was being really serious and trying to communicate that message, it got really deep. So you were paying
What about
attention
normal volume? Normal volume.
Well, normal pitch always fluctuates slightly. So unless you speak very monotone like this, where it neither goes up or down, your pitch will always have some minor changes to it. So normally, if you're just listening to me talking right now, even just in that last part of the sentence, there were about 3 or 4 fluctuations in the pitch of my voice. So it's always changing slightly, but it just becomes a lot more obvious in certain situations. Like am I asking a question? Am I stating a fact? Am I excited? Am I sad? Am I angry? Am I happy? All of these different things can have an effect on how you use your pitch. So part of your homework for today's class is actually going to be analyzing all of your body language and vocal modulation and stuff, but I'll give you that assignment later. So volume, we all know what volume is. How loud are you speaking? So sometimes, this one actually threw me a little bit, because I always thought when I was younger, I always used to think if you talk the loudest, people will listen, but no. So you want to be careful with the volume of your voice and how you use it. Excuse me. So if you want people to, excuse me, got hiccups now. So if you want people to really pay attention to what you're saying, again, like you'll need to change the volume to be certain times when being really loud is appropriate and the best way to speak. And there are times when speaking more quietly is going to be the way to go. But basically, so if you speak quietly, people will try harder to listen to what you're saying, because if I'm talking quietly, so if we're having a face-to-face conversation and I'm talking quietly, the other person will have to, you know, lean in and really try and listen to what I'm saying. But if I'm sitting back here and talking really loudly and just yelling all the time, then people might be too loud. People are going to, you know, jump backwards and recoil. So, you know, so speaking quietly, people, so not so quiet that you're whispering and people have to go, what's he trying to say? I can't hear it. But just speaking slightly with slightly less volume. Again, people are going to try and lean in and listen to what you're saying. But again, if you're trying to get people excited or, you know, trying to pump them up for something, then yeah, you might want to get a bit louder and come on, guys, we can do it. This is going to be easy. We just got to put our minds to it. So there are times, again, where talking louder is the way to go.
Teacher,
Yes.
you said I think it's so funny.
Thank you. I'm glad you think it's funny. But yeah, so for debating and public speaking, you're probably, for the majority of it, going to want to use a slightly softer voice, or soft but strong. So confident and not like you have to yell to get your ideas out there. And finally, we have the speed at which you talk. Okay, so pace is the speed at which you talk. The best advice I can give there is talk slowly for the important details, and it's okay to speed up slightly for filler information. So what that means, and when I say speed up, I'm not talking about talking so fast that you can't understand what I'm saying because I'm just talking so fast and my words just constantly flowing. You don't even know what I'm saying because I'm talking so fast. Don't talk that quickly because nobody will be able to understand you. The difference in speeds I'm talking about, for example, might be if I was saying, so if I'm going to give you a list of important details that I want you to remember, I'm going to try and show you now using this example about how I might try and change my voice. So that speed there is great for the quicker speed because I'm still getting through the words fast, but not so fast that you can't understand me. But when it comes time to listing the important details, sorry, let me try that again. But when it comes time for me to list the important details that I want you to remember, I might slow down and deliver them all like this. Vocal modulation, pitch, volume, and pace. So you see the difference in speeds there. There was quite a difference. You know, even as I'm talking now, this is on the faster side of how you should be speaking when you're delivering a speech or participating in a debate. Because again, I'm speaking fast and making my way through the information.
Teacher, how many minutes more to the breakout room?
We've got about 5 to 10 minutes left, Sonny, don't worry. But yeah, so we've got the pace or the speed at which we talk. So using the pitch, the volume, and your pace, you can deliver an awful lot of information than just the words you're speaking. So yeah, so basically have a play with your vocal modulation, and work out what works best for you and how you feel you sound the most confident. My advice would be try and regulate your pitch to be on the lower end. With your speech, speak majority quietly. And for the pace, I would stick to, again, the pace I've been showing you. This and slowing down to list important details. Okay. Now, the next thing that I would like to impart on you before we finish off with some examples of some rhetorical devices.
Teacher,
Yes,
can I go to the bathroom?
you can. Okay, so
Yeah. Teacher, what is 6PS?
so there's an adult version of this saying with 7 Ps, but I won't give you that one. I'll give you this one. So the 6 Ps: prior, planning, and practice prevents poor performance. So basically what that means is if you want to do something well, like participate in a debate or give a public speech, and you want to do well at it, that means that it's going to take a lot of prior planning and practice. So that means that you need to plan out your speech, start out by writing down a list of all the important information that you need to make sure that you present to the class or to your audience. Then you go ahead and write that speech out. You may edit it, change it, but you keep working on it until you think it is as good as it can be. And then you also need to practice it lots. So when we say that, I'm not just talking about sitting there with the sheet, just reading the speech and, yep, I've read it out twice, 3 times. Now I know this speech. I'm talking about practice it in the same way that you plan on delivering the speech. So, video record yourself delivering the speech. Listen to your vocal modulation. Are you talking too fast? Do you think you're too loud, or are you not loud enough? Is your pitch too high, or is it all over the place? So again, record yourself, watch it back, and then analyze yourself. And don't be afraid to be mean to yourself and go, oh, that was really bad. I need to work on that facial expression there. Or, oh, what's my hand doing? It just kind of like spasmed out across the screen. What am I doing? So yeah, a lot of prior planning and practice will prevent a poor performance, because there's nothing worse than getting up in front of an audience. Well, there are worse things, but one of my biggest fears in life is getting up in front of an audience, not knowing what I'm saying or doing, and then just having the whole speech just fall apart. And then I just stand there as red as a beetroot, feeling really embarrassed. So the best way to make sure that doesn't happen again is use the 6 Ps. Prior planning and practice prevent poor performance. Okay, now, in the last few minutes, I am going to share with you a list of rhetorical devices, and I'll send you a video that has all of these on it.
A teacher.
Yeah.
How many minutes more to get in the breakout room?
The more you ask, the more minutes it will take. This is the last bit that I've got to show you today. So give me a couple of minutes and then we're in the breakout room, I promise. Okay, so I've got here a list of rhetorical or persuasive techniques. Now, I mentioned it before, but persuasion is the act of trying to convince somebody to believe an idea or to perform an action by pointing out the positive reasons to do so. So basically what that means is, so persuasion is not force. So if I was to walk up to you and, hold my fist up and go, you're going to clean this whole house or I'm going to punch you, that is not persuasion because that's force. That's not persuasion. Persuasion.
Teacher, I think that is me.
It is mean and you should not do it. But persuasion would be if I was to say, oh, well, how about you clean up your bedroom and then help me with your dishes? Because one, that's going to mean the house is going to be a lot tidier. And two, that means afterwards we're going to be able to go to the park and go play on the playground and kick the soccer ball around. So I've given you some good reasons as to why you should do this action that I'm suggesting, because one, we'll have a nice tidy house, and two, afterwards we'll get to go play at the park. So, so I'm pointing out the good reasons. I'm not forcing you to do anything. That is the definition of persuasion. And persuasion can be a very strong friend when you're participating in a debate or when you're giving a speech. So I just want to run through a few of these techniques with you and give you a couple of examples. So we'll start with alliteration. Oh, by the way, so these techniques were originally developed for like writers. So if you were to read a news article or if you were to read a blog post or something like that, that's where these techniques were originally invented. But they've also definitely made their way into speeches that people give because they're just as effective when you hear them as when you read them. So the first one is alliteration. So the 6 Ps is a perfect example of alliteration. You have a series of words that all start with the same sound. So in this case, they're all the P sounds. Prior planning prevents prior planning and practice prevents poor performance. Even though it doesn't rhyme, it kind of has like a catchy little rhythm to it because you're using that same sound at the beginning of all the words. Just try and say that to yourself now. Prior planning and practice prevents poor performance. You'll feel that rhythm to it with the P's. And you can do that, with just about any letter. So for example, I could say something like, Alan ate all the apples. So that's alliteration. You've got things like connotation, and that is the meaning behind a word when it's put into a certain context. So for example, let's say that I have a friend who lost a lot of weight and now they've gotten really skinny. So, so connotation is I could say that in a good way, and I could say something like, wow, you've lost so much weight. You look fantastic. You know, you're so skinny. You look fantastic. So that would be the good way of putting it. Or if I didn't think they look good, I might say something like, oh my God, you've lost so much weight. You're all skin and bones. Ooh. So you heard me say the same thing in two different ways. One way made it sound good, one way made it sound bad. So that is a really good skill to have, as well as a great reason to build up your vocabulary of English words so that you have a lot of these different words at your disposal. Evidence, that's a very big one, especially in debates. You cannot make, well, you can, but you just won't win. But you cannot make a claim or make an argument without backing it up with facts. So, you know, that is a very important thing to consider, making sure that you use evidence. And the last one I'll talk to you about is repetition. So repetition is exactly what it is exactly how it sounds. It's using a key word multiple times to help your audience remember your point. So an example I like to use is in a lot of ads that sell cars, you might hear one key word. So, for example, I'll use the keyword more. So you might hear something in an ad for a car saying something like, there's more boot space for your groceries. There's more power in the engine. You get more kilometers per liter of fuel. So if I just keep saying that, you get more this, you get more that, you get more this, you're going to remember that ad and go, and you know, if you're in the market to buy a car and you saw that car, you'd go, oh yeah, I'd get more if I get that car, more boot space, more power, more this, more that. And so it's a great trick to help people remember what you're saying. So these are just some of the, the rhetorical techniques you can use. Oop. Stop share. Okay, so we're going to go into the breakout rooms now. I'll give everybody, I'm going to give everybody a list of instructions.
Yeah, breakout.
Can I stay with you?
Yes, you can, I think, depending on how we...
Can I stay with you too?
I suppose you can.
Yeah, can I stay with you too?
Me as well. Can I stay with you?
Hang on 2 seconds.
Little.
All right, so
Can I stay with you?
hold on just 2 moments. Let me have a look here. We'll see how the breakout rooms get divided, but I believe we have four TAs today. Ah, whoops. Sorry, I meant to send that to everybody, not just Tina. All right, so here are your breakout room instructions, guys. Okay. Breakout rooms. So I'm going to gonna set up the breakout rooms now. Give me a couple of moments. I'll be right back with you.
Can you suggest me some topics that I can write a speech about?
whatever you'd like, really. So you can do it about your favorite book. You can do it about a sport or a game you like to play. You can talk about one of your friends, talk about someone in your family, whatever you'd like. Obviously, as long as it's class appropriate. So no talking about naughty things. All right.
Bình
Just
thường
making
này
sure
đâu
that
nó
just
nó
making
đi nó
sure
lại
that I
nó đi lại nó đi
create
lại
room.
mẹ gạo diễn viên. Con người.
Yeah, can we break out room right now?
Yeah, I'm just assigning people to the breakout room.
Sorry, call your mom so she can like watch your sister. She's annoying.
Nói chuyện với mấy bạn được.
Hey, teacher Michael, have
Hello.
you debate with anyone?
You can debate with anybody so long as they are willing to participate in the debate.
But
So there are some people that there are
had
some
you
people that
debate
you
with-
won't be able
I say,
to.
had you debate with someone?
Can I debate with someone?
Have you debate with someone?
I have debated with people before. The trick is to find people that want to debate, because like a
And
lot of
which
people,
topic is it?
a lot of people don't want to debate. They just want to argue, and it can be very frustrating.
Okay, so what is the topic?
We're not having a debate yet. I believe we have some debates planned for later in the course, but I'll have to confirm that. All right, so I'm going to open the breakout rooms now, guys.
Teacher,
Yes.
did you have a debate and the topic is about Coca-Cola and Pepsi?
I'm just trying to think about the topic of the last debate that I participated in. The last debate that I participated in was about, well, as a debater, the last debate that I participated in was probably about 15 years ago, but I've been judging and moderating debates for about a year now. So I've been participating in a lot of debates. All right, breakout rooms are open. And I should be left with about 10 students in this room. Okay. So let's get this exercise started. So first of all, we're just going to spend a couple of minutes. I want you to select a topic that you'd like to talk about for 1 to 2 minutes.
Then I will talk about my favorite singer.
Excellent. Good. So Vanessa's got her topic. And so once you've thought of your topic, I want you to, you can either write the entire speech out, or you can just write yourself a few dot points if you need to, about things you'd like to talk about in your speech. Whoop, I will be right back, guys. But yeah, so think about think about what you want to talk about, and then start planning the speech. Write down some notes about it. And then I want you to think about, how do you want this speech to make us feel? Do you want, are you delivering a happy speech? Is it a sad speech or a serious speech? I want you to think about that. So start planning your speeches. I will be back in just a minute.
Nhóm lên. Tạo đó. Được rồi. Mấy giờ rồi? 3 tiếng rồi. Bắt cóc 3 thôi. Bắt cóc 3 của cô gái thôi. Cô gái em thì đúng. Bắt cóc này. Con này, bắt cóc 3 này. Bắt cóc 3 này này. Bắt cóc 3 đứa bé này. Bắt cóc được 3 rồi.
Thank you, Min. I didn't even realize that until I saw your message pop up there. But yeah, so just make sure that your body language matches the tone of your speech. And as soon as you're ready to deliver your speech, let me know. going to turn my camera off for this next bit, but I'm still on the microphone. I can still talk to you if you've got any questions. So does anybody is anybody ready to deliver their speech yet? All right. So I'll give you guys another couple of minutes and then we'll start. I'll call on somebody to deliver their speech. Okay, let's get somebody speaking. Vanessa, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Great, let's hear your speech.
Yes, today I'm going to talk about my favorite singer called Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is an American female singer and songwriter. She was born in the 13th of December 1989. She had a gorgeous and good appearance, and she also intelligent and modest. Taylor Swift now she has a lot of fans, and she is also famous. Sorry. Taylor Swift has 11 albums, and she's not only has her enormous albums, but also had her own film. Her film is the documentary film called The Eras Tour. Yes, and in April, she will have a new album called The Torture Poets Department, coming in the 19th of April.
Very good. Okay, so I'll give you some feedback. Your body language is good. I'll turn my camera back on. Okay, so your body language was good. You had nice and open across here. You had some good eye contact, like you were looking at the camera while you were talking, and then you'd take a quick little look down at your notes, and then you'd look back up at the camera to keep talking. That was very good. Your voice, it was very your voice, you seemed quite unsure, but I understand I gave you like 2 minutes to prepare this speech. But even so, yeah, your voice was you're still very sounded a bit nervous, and as well your facial expressions, you're quite flat, not a lot of expression there. But again, body language and eye contact were very good, so you're like halfway there.
I'm sorry because I am too nervous and I haven't prepared for my speech
Yeah, no,
carefully.
I do understand that. So yeah, so hopefully the homework task that I'll assign you guys this week, you'll get another chance to practice this. You'll have more time to prepare. So you'll have that chance to, yeah, really practice and get that confidence level up. But for an on-the-spot speech, that was very good, Vanessa. Well done.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mary, are you ready? Alice, are you ready to do your speech?
Yes, I am. So I am talking about why dogs are the best pet for kids. Firstly, dogs are very loyal and supportive. They can support their owners wherever they were alone. Dogs are very obedient, so if you order a well-trained dog for fetch a stick, they would run away and came back with the stick you have ordered. Because of this, dogs can help their owners supporting them. If you leave them alone, they will always find their way back to come back with you. Secondly, dogs are very sensible of smell and hear.
Well, what?
Keep going, Alice.
Victor, we are back.
You're doing great. Keep going.
We're back.
In the nose, there are
We are back in time.
Sorry, Alice, hang on 2 seconds. Would you like me to reopen the breakout rooms, everyone?
No, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
It's really annoying when I'm away. My baby cousin
Okay.
just went there and messed up.
I'm going to open the breakout rooms again just for another 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap up the class at the end of that.
No.
Okay. I'm sending everyone back to their breakout rooms now. Alice, you can keep going. You're doing really well.
In their nose, there are up to 300 million olfactory receptors that they help the dog to smell stronger 10,000 times than human, while we only have around 6 million olfactory receptors. Because of their sense of smell is so strong, police often train them to investigate criminals, to capture the outlawed that they outlaw things that they bring into the border of the country. Lastly, dogs are very easy to train. They live independent with humans. Because of their obedience, they will listen to anything you say. The first thing to change a dog is to let it know and remember your face. Dogs also have a short memory. In one glance, they will remember you, and you will need to teach it some useful tricks. In conclusion, dogs can guard home. Their smelling and hearing skills are incredibly strong. They are loyal, supportive, and playful for children. All these characteristics is the main reason they make them a good and entertaining pet for the kids. Thank you.
Okay. So first of all, the structure of your speech was fantastic. I really liked how well you signposted. So every time you moved on to another point that you wanted to make, you were very clear about that. You introduced your topic well. You said the first point I'd like to make, the second point in conclusion. That was very well done. You had good use of your voice. You were nice and expressive. You played with your tone a lot, which was good. I couldn't see your eye contact because you've got those Thug Life glasses on, that filter on. And your body language, it was good for the most part. Let me turn my camera on again. For the most part, you were sat up well and you spoke well, but there were a few moments there in the speech where, for one, you brought your hand here and you were kind of talking like this for a few seconds. And then there was another part where you had your hands in front of your chest here like that. So when you're giving a speech, again, just remember remember to keep your body language consistent throughout the whole speech. So, stay with your good posture and don't close your body off. Because again, what that represents to your audience is that you're either nervous or that you're not sure about what you're talking about. Even though I understood and liked everything you said, you had a lot of good information there. So just open up your body, keep your body language open a bit more, and that'll be really good. So well done, Alice. Had 2 good speeches so far. I think we have time for maybe one more. So who'd like to deliver their speech for our group? Lily, Mint, Anna, Min, T, anybody? Lily, are you ready to deliver your speech?
Yes.
Let's try someone else. Jack, are you ready to give your speech? No. Mary, have you got your
Yes.
speech ready yet?
No.
Ah.
Still thinking.
Trong Tan, do you have a speech for us? No. Okay. Well, Alice and Vanessa, you guys did fantastically for a speech where you were just put on the spot like that. So well done to you two. I'll close down the breakout rooms. Boom. Okay. So,
It's time to
Yes.
out. Goodbye,
Again.
everybody.
okay, guys. So that will be it for class today. I hope you all did a great job with your speeches. I heard a couple of really good speeches from my group. Very happy with it. Let me get your homework. Let me get your homework task.
Faster, I need to grind.
Yeah.
You my brother.
What is that
Oh, Roland's
word?
on his grind. I love it.
I need to grind.
Okay. So,
You cry, I don't care.
so I'll make sure
Teacher.
that I post the breakout room exercise as
I
well,
need to
because your
grind.
homework is that you're going to do the same thing again. So you're going to think up a topic you'd like to do a speech about, and then write the speech to last about 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, so where is it here? So while you're writing your speech, again, I
Teacher
want you all
Michael.
to hang on a second. Let me talk about the homework first. So you're going to write your speech, and you're going to again consider the emotion or feeling behind the speech, and then you're going to match your body language and vocal modulation with the feeling. The difference for this homework is that, again, this speech is going to be 3 to 4 minutes long. You need to use at least 3 different types of evidence. So do some research about what sort of information you can, so do your research about what sorts of evidence you can use, and then pick 3 different types of evidence to use to support your speech. I want you to record yourself delivering this speech, so video yourself. And then I want you to watch that speech and analyze your performance. So I want you to analyze how well did you use your body language to communicate your message? How well you used your vocal modulation techniques? Did you use any of the rhetorical questions or any of the rhetorical techniques that you learned about? I'm going to post a video about those as well. Also, how well did you use the evidence that you chose? And then I also want you to record yourself as you talk about your analysis of your speech, and then post both your speech and your analysis video into the homework Zalo group. So that will do it for today, guys. We are done. I will see you all in a fortnight.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Bye, everyone.
I need to
I'll post-
cry.
Goodbye.
So long.
Bye.
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 Bye.